Welcome everyone, here's another classic Radionic 9-dial instrument. This is a Warr instrument. Now we are uncertain exactly from what year it is. You know, one of the problems with this entire field is there's nobody who's recorded anything, kept any history to any great degree. And of course, when it comes to actual instruments and so forth, many types are made and very little is known about them. So it's really sad, this entire industry. We're hoping to correct that, but it's going to take a lot of support to put together a functional radionic institute that you can come to see these things, or if in general, just having some sort of video file. So this is a start. Now, this is a typical 9-dial. And let's go in here and look at the dials, basically. But there's a unique factor to this. And, of course, these are typical 9-dials. They're very well-made dials. And, of course, you've got your plate at the top, your witness plate. And, of course, there's a light there. This is electric. There is an amplifier of sorts built in. You can see it's got the British plug on it. And that's a new plug. There's been the other plugs that originally came with, of course, has been replaced as these things get old. And, of course, on the side here, you have the on and off switch, which typical toggle switch here. And you've got another, this is where this is a little bit odd. You've got another 0 to 10 dial. Now, a lot of machines had an amplifying dial on it. I mean, it had 9 and then 1. This actually has 11. There's another apparently amplifying dial here. Now, generally you would dial in the 9 numbers, then you would adjust this, and this is a click one. You can hear that, which is different than these, which are smooth turning. So generally this is an amplification. I mean, how much more energy you want to put into the general circuit, and of course we go into all this. Now this is a smooth moving one. So this makes it difficult to use these units when you don't really get instructions with them. You have to figure out and know how to do it. Now, we generally know how to do it, and of course, what's inside here? Well, this again gets back to, now it's a typical case here. It's inexpensive wood covered with kind of a plastic material. This is very common for instruments to be made in these kind of cases, where you made a custom-made case out of wood, but then you covered that wood to make it more attractive in some sort of plastic. So this was a style because wood was very inexpensive and looked bad, and I guess this gave it a nice feature. So you got the typical 9 dials again, the 1 input plate. And, of course, there's the guts of all this, but, that's for those that are part of our Patreon All Access membership, where we're going to go in and actually take this apart. We're going to look in the back and what is in there. I mean, it does plug in, right? Well, where is the electricity going to? What is the electricity doing? And of course, this is something that's never been looked at by radionic organizations. They spend all their time in other areas and not really worrying about it. They've considered the fact now that radionics is strictly a psychic crutch, which you tune in, that it doesn't produce anything of a measurable nature. Now, this is wrong, and the energies you do produce by using these machines are more of a informational energetic field, which are difficult to actually detect and measure, but they can be, and you got to know what you're doing. And of course, nobody seems to want to bother to do this. They keep putting out one instrument after another that is based on general faulty understanding. Well, what is going on? Where is the energy coming from? How is it being used in the machine, and what does it put out? So it's all very interesting because, again, this has no antenna on it, so you're going to have this typical quantum entanglement factor that you connect to someone. It only it only has one plate on the top here, which means that you're going to have to use that as a stick plate or using a pendulum generally. So, it's the same old story with these things. What's the guts? How is it used? And unfortunately, almost all used machines, you can't find any written information in terms of instructions on how to use them. So if you get extra dials, what do they mean? Well, tune in later and find out, you Patreon All Access members. We will be giving greater explanations. And you'll be able to see the guts of these things, look inside of it, and know what they actually did. I mean, this is really critical for everyone. As you can see, the electrical cord goes in here. There's nothing unusual or fancy about the back. So this is another exciting and opportunity for you to support research and to see what the mystery of all these machines are. And all of the machines will be opened up for Patreon and All Access members eventually here. This will take a wee bit. They are not there now, but you need to start your support as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed this. Many more to come.